Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Let's Build a B&M Floorless Coaster in Planet Coaster series, where in this episode I get on with building the station and basically doing the interior of the station and the surrounding area. I haven't finished the station in this episode, but I've got very close to. The exterior is like 90% finished, and the interior is pretty much done. I've done all the queue and stuff, and you'll see in the time lapse as it progresses that I've managed to get a lot of the details sort of nailed down. I think my storage on my computer has stopped recording some bits of this, so it will probably jump a few times during this time lapse, and I'm sorry about that. I just can't seem to get good time lapses for some reason, but nevertheless, you see the very early portions of the station kind of come together. It's mainly the finer details that I think don't get recorded, but you know, that's not really the end of the world. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, in this episode we just get on with getting the station, and I've done it in that Mediterranean style, heavily inspired by Furious Backhoe at Portaventura. I went as far as basically pulling up an image, checking some of the details on the station, and trying to replicate them the best I could on my station without obviously making it the same. But a lot of the little tiny details, such as the nice fences in the archways and the barrels in the windows, I decided to go for because whilst I haven't got a name for this yet, and it's not because I haven't seen any good ones, it's because I just haven't really thought about the name just yet, but there were a few good suggestions in the comments that I will, I think, just think over a bit more, and then whenever I do get a name for it, I will and obviously say it, and then we'll sort out the rest of the theming to go with it. But because it's kind of just going to be a generic kind of Mediterranean theme, it doesn't necessarily need a too specific station other than the one I've gone for. So, you know, as you can see here, I'm just doing the air gates for the roads even, can't speak. I did this obviously by just aligning certain bits to the train so that I could make sure they were perfectly spaced and even and it all looked good. And also I've decided halfway through building this that I wanted to do a kind of tiled floor, not like a marble tile or like something in your kitchen or whatever, but kind of the nice ceramic tiles you get in kind of Mediterranean housing. So, or not housing, just kind of in architecture in general. So what I did was I picked these concrete pieces, and you'll see that I used 2-centimeter beams to create the divides between the tiles, and honestly I think it turned out really nicely because it means I could cut and paste tiles. And as you see in further into the time lapse, when I built the stairs out in and out of the station, that I managed to cut the tiles to fit the bits, and it looks really nice. But there's some bits to clean up next episode, but for the most part I think it's pretty good. So anyway, whilst I suppose this time that's going on, I'll just sort of generally talk about what's going on. I want to say a massive thank you to the support on that recent challenge video. You guys are absolutely insane with the amount of comments and likes and stuff that's going on, so thank you so much, and I'm really glad you guys enjoyed that and you're enjoying the challenge series in general. I'm going to bring out another one at some point, but I obviously don't want to put them out too close in proximity, otherwise, you know, it just gets a bit boring if it's the same content over and over again, specifically in the game, because obviously I know this is Planet Coaster content, but it's just kind of like I don't want to do that every single time. But obviously when I come to do another one, there's been some great suggestions in the comments, and I'm definitely going to take on board a lot of the ones that you guys have been suggesting, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. And obviously as well, I'm going to just, I think, generally continue with the Nemesis recreation, which is going on, so thank you all for all the kind support and words on that as well. That's coming along pretty slowly, just a big project, and the performance is starting to knacker on that, but honestly I'm going to go until I can't go anymore, which it will run not very well, but you know, as long as it gets finished, that's all that matters to me personally. So anyway, I'm going to keep building little one-off coasters as well. I think after building this station, I kind of want to work on some other coaster as well at some point. I'm not sure, I might just stop playing around with building things and just see what happens, but obviously I'll bring out the content whenever that is finished. I'm not sure when that'll be, but it will be at some point, so just stay tuned for that in general. This whole series, the Floorless one in general, it's probably going to take a little while to finish, maybe a bit longer than Vulcan did, if you remember that from last year, purely because I'm also going to be building quite a big themed area to go around this coaster. So once that's finished, I will put it up for download. You will need V3, obviously, but I will probably do another non-modded version like I did in Vulcan's case, and you can just download it and it'll all be good. So along with that, pretty sure that's everything to update for. Yeah, no, that should be about everything. So just doing the op cabin there. This was quite tight, it ended up being quite small, but I did end up making it work in the later bits of the time-lapse. I also did manage to make some little stairways up into the station, which allowed that all to be connected, and it all worked quite well. I think overall, I'm really happy with how the station's come out, because as you know, I'm not a theming person. I can't do it very well. I'm not like, you know, it's not one of my favourite things to do in the game. I'm sure it's nice to build something really immersive, but I just like building coasters personally. Like, that's my whole thing, and that's why I've decided to build, you know, try and go out of my comfort zone and really nail a heavy theming sort of coaster. And, you know, I think it's coming along pretty well. Obviously, if you've got suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I will need help, obviously, as the series continues, because I am not very good at scenery in every sense possible. But it's not coming along too badly, and I'm actually really enjoying putting a lot of detail into sorting out a big coaster project sort of thing like this. But, you know, I still feel a bit like not entirely sure what I'm going to do and make everything feel good and not repetitive, and also put detail into things where detail needs to go. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, obviously, when the end of the series comes on. But I'm just doing some archways here, I think. Yeah, I do the big archways, and then I put little windows above them. You know, I end up just taking time with this, trying to make it look decent. There's a whole section under the station where I'm going to have a queue line bit with theming. That doesn't get done in this episode, but I do lay out basically the layout for the station and where that's going to go. So that will get done probably next episode, which will be at some point. And whenever that does get finished, we'll be able to sort of add the details, the queue line, the fences, all this stuff. You know, it's I don't think it's too bad at all. And I do, you know, very much looking forward to progressing this series, because I'm very much enjoying building it, as I said. But I will need some input from you guys if you think there is anything that can change, anything that would be better, or anything that you'd like to see in the actual build itself. So I think that's just about everything. So I think I've rambled on enough about just anything. But again, thank you very much for the support on the channel recently. We're like 2,500 subscribers. That's ridiculous, and I cannot believe it. So thank you so much, guys. You're genuinely just like amazing. And like a year ago, I would not have expected to be here, and let alone like 2 years ago, I'd have, you know, didn't even know what to do, you know. But thank you so much for the support, and I hope you guys will stick with this series and see it through the end, because I'm sure it's going to be a pretty good one to see when it's all finished. So thank you very much for watching this episode of the Floorless series. I will leave you guys with the rest of the time lapse. That's about it. Yeah, I'll leave you with the rest of the time lapse. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will come out at some point, and I'll see you all next time.